Hi, I'm Tony. Welcome to Sports Bike Shop's review of the LS2 Advant X helmet. Flip-over helmets keep on growing in popularity, and LS2 are one of the big players in this world. This Advant X sits in the middle of LS2's three flip-over models as we record this. Their base flip-over is the Advant 2, which has a polycarbonate shell and a list price that starts at £250 as we record this. This one's next up with a composite fibre shell and a starting list price of £300. And above this one is the Advant X Carbon, which has an all-carbon fibre shell and is currently listed at £400 and up, depending on the colour scheme. Right, let's focus on this helmet. The shell for the main helmet portion is made from LS2's high-performance fiberglass composite. That's a fiberglass weave that's pre-filled with the resin that cures to turn the fabric into a hard shell. By pre-filling that resin rather than adding it by hand at the time of manufacture, there's a more precise amount of resin in each helmet shell. That makes for a more consistent thickness across the shell surface and hopefully a lighter shell. So we weighed this size medium Advant X at 1675 grams, which is pretty consistent with other fibre-shelled flipovers. However, it's not much of a weight saving compared to LS2's polycarbonate shelled Advant 2, which is just 4 grams heavier on our scales. Now, whether there are other benefits to fibre over plastic beyond a weight saving is really opening a huge debate that's beyond my level of expertise. But as someone who grew up in the 80s and 90s, we're programmed by our dads to prefer fibre-shelled helmets over polycarbonate. The chin bar operation for this one is similar to most flip-over helmets. There's a single button at the tip of the chin bar, and on this it's colour matched to the helmet. Most manufacturers have made this release button red since the 2206 safety standard came in, but LS2 clearly interpret the regulations differently to most other brands on that matter. So if the visor is down when you start lifting the chin bar, that will pop up and out of the way as the chin bar slides over into the back of the helmet. So if you're wondering what makes a flip over different to a regular flip front, it's having the chin bar finish up here at the back of the helmet rather than perched on top like that. That makes the helmet a more practical option to wear in open face mode for a few reasons. It gives better weight balance, it's not as top heavy, and it also means less drag and hopefully less noise than if you had the chin bar sat right here. It also gives you use of the main visor. On a normal one, the visor's behind the chin bar and it's out of the game. There's no lock switch to hold the chin bar back on this, but let's face it, there's no need for one on a flip-over helmet anyway. This isn't going to accidentally slip back into your line of vision, and that's why a flip front might need a locking switch. When you come to close the chin bar again, the visor will open if it's closed, and then the chin bar lowers and clicks back into place. Every flip-over helmet I've ever tested works in that way. It pings the visor when you close the chin bar. At first it's irritating to have to shut the visor again after opening or closing the chin bar, but it quickly becomes second nature just to flick that visor back down as part of the same action. Right, before we cover the visor, let's talk about ventilation. There are inlets at the chin and up top, and air can move through channels in the EPS to escape through 2 rear exhaust vents. I found the venting to be okay. The top vent brings a noticeable flow over the top of the head without really feeling like it's properly whooshing in. The chin vent is good. It sends some air direct to my mouth and some more up through the top of the chin bar to refresh the eye port. The switch for the chin vent isn't in the most intuitive position. It sits quite low, so it did take me a bit of time to get used to that. That's the only issue really. Right, let's move on to the visor. It gives good peripheral vision in both the vertical and horizontal planes, and it sits securely in either the raised or the cracked positions. The cracked position gives about a 1 centimetre gap for air to flow into the eye port, which is welcome when riding in town. It also holds quite firmly in place, and I found I could get up to motorway speeds on my Yamaha FZ1 Phaser without the visor slipping shut. The lifting and lowering tab on this one is on the top edge of the visor. That's how most LS2 flipovers have been designed over the years. Really, I think that's just so that it creates enough clearance for the chin bar to slide over the visor without hitting that tab. But it's not a natural place to find this tab. Normally it's on the bottom, and this takes some getting used to. The newer LS2 Advant 2 has a lifting tab at the base of the visor, and I think that is an improvement over this design. Now for anti-mist, there's a Pinlock supplied with the helmet. This is one of the older Advant X's that you're looking at here, and this one's got a straight Pinlock 120. Newer examples are coming with a Pinlock 120 XLT, and those letters stand for extra light transmittance. Another good thing about the Pinlock, if you need to adjust the tension of the insert, you can use the screw adjusters, and that makes that an easier task on this one than on some other helmets. There's a sun visor with this lid, which runs from a switch at the lower left edge. I found both the drop amount and the tint level to be good, and I didn't have any issues with this misting up on damp mornings. Right, let's go inside. The comfort liner is made up of 2 parts. There's a skull pad and then a second part that's made up of 2 cheek pads and attached to the neck roll. It's got a premium feel and it's well padded. The front section of the cheek pads on this size medium are very thick and that can give a squashed cheek feel. That is something that also gets mentioned by owners in the customer reviews. Personally, I didn't find it to be a problem. It's just something that I got used to. Now, there's no design feature to help those of us who wear glasses. I could get my specs inside. It took a little bit of fiddling, so we'll possibly be lucky dip on whether the arms for your glasses sit in this space between the cheek pad and the skull pad. The covers for the chin strap on this helmet can be removed for washing, which is a nice bonus, and it's the same for the chin curtain, which is held in place by poppers. So that chin strap, that fastens with a micrometric buckle, and LS2 have their own system, this pull tab here, which makes it easier to undo that fastener. That does make life easier in my experience. Behind the comfort liner, there are recesses for intercom speakers, and that moves us on nicely to intercom compatibility. There's an official comm system for this lid from LS2. It's called the Spectrum. It's a relatively basic Bluetooth setup that costs £149.99 as we record this. The control module for that is low profile, and it sticks to the shell behind the sun visor switch. If you prefer to fit off-the-shelf comms, you should be able to do that. The speaker recesses inside the helmet aren't the biggest, but a pair of Cardo's 40mm speakers will fit. The biggest speakers in our range, Cardo's 45mm ones, sit in straight, but they do end up sitting slightly proud, so comfort there will depend on how much room there is for your ears. A control module for a regular comms unit should stick on the side of the shell without too much trouble. You'll need the self-adhesive pad, and it will sit further back than is ideal, but it should go on okay. Right, let's go on to sizing, approvals and price. Sizing ranges from extra small up to triple extra large. That covers head circumferences from 53 centimetres to 66 centimetres. There are two shell sizes. Everything up to and including size large goes in the smaller shell, and everything from XL and up goes in the bigger shell. So that means riders wearing the smallest size are wearing a helmet with the same external size as someone in a size large helmet. Thankfully, that internal size difference isn't all made up with extra foam padding. Each helmet size appears to have its own EPS impact liner. In an ideal world, there would be more than two shell sizes, but the multi-EPS solution is the next best option. In terms of fit, I wore a size medium and I found it comfortable. I wear a medium in pretty much every helmet, even though my head circumference would put me in a large if you just went from the size chart. That shows that a chart is only ever a starting point when finding the right size helmet for you. In terms of internal shape, a quick look at one of these without the foam lining suggests it's quite oval, and my head is considered to be a round. It measures the same from side to side as it does from front to back, but this helmet still fits me comfortably. Again, that shows that you shouldn't rule a helmet out or rule one in until you've tried one on. Now also, all flip helmets will change in fit when you close the chin bar because they compress when the front locks down in place. That's particularly the case with flipovers, which tend to relax even more when they're opened. But with this one, I didn't notice any dramatic change from open to closed, and I consider that to be a good thing. I've had a look at our returns data as well, and there's nothing there to suggest a particular problem on sizing. I'd say the vast majority of people ordering one of these from us are happy with the first size they choose. Okay, approvals. The Advant X meets the ECE 2206 standard for the road. It's P&J dual homologated, so it's legal to wear with the chin bar open or closed. There's no ACU gold sticker, so track use is out, but that won't be a problem for the vast majority of riders. There is a rating from the UK government's SHARP testing programme, and the Advant X scores a respectable 4 stars. Prices, and these won't be a big surprise if you were listening at the start of the review. In plain colours, an LS2 Advant X is £299.99 as we record this. With a graphic colour scheme like this one, the list price goes up to £329.99. Okay, let's sum up. Flip over helmets, like I said, are consistently growing in popularity, and I think this is one of the strongest offerings. Any issues I had with it were relatively minor, like learning to aim lower when opening the chin vent and remembering to go to the top of the visor for the lifting tab, not the bottom of the visor. Otherwise, I think this is a solid performer. If you prefer fiberglass over polycarbonate, then this is a good step up from the poly-shelled Advant 2. But if you're price driven and if you're happy with the poly shell, and there's no reason to not be happy with that, then I think the Advant 2 is a really good lid. It's not much heavier than this one, the visor tab's in a more natural position, and it's 50 quid cheaper as we record this. Now, a lot of people will alternatively step up from this and get the Advant X Carbon instead. That helmet is 90 grams or so lighter on a like-for-like basis, so if minimising weight is important to you, then the extra 100 quid is worth considering. Also, if you just like carbon, then that's another good reason to jump up. Personally, I'm not so worried about that, so I would stick with this one. I hope that tells you everything you wanted to know about the LS2 Advant X, but if there is anything you'd like to ask or to add, then please pop a comment below. Thanks for watching.